And, some of the later numbers, now I'm sure that we've got updated numbers even still this morning, but I mean, is it just me or is it impossible to keep up with the numbers? But the latest numbers that I've seen, and this was as of about midnight last night, was about 26,000 new cases in the U.S. in the last 24 hours, bringing our total cases in the U.S. to over 337,000 cases. Now, of those, apparently, almost 10,000 people have died. Now, a couple of things I think are interesting. We've performed apparently 1.7 million tests so far, and that may be part of the reason that you see our numbers shooting up, particularly relative to other countries, is we are performing so many more tests in our country now than they are in most other countries.
100,000 here just in the state of Florida, more than any other state except New York.
And, so already, and I think we're going to continue to perform, I think close to about 100,000 per day is the number that I heard that are going to be performed across this country now going forward. Now, that could slow down if the people who are requesting tests slow down because, there does seem to have been some effect from this mitigation, although I have to say it's hard to tell. And if you've been watching the presidential daily briefings, you'll see that the scientists, as much as they claim that they know stuff and this is how it's going to happen, the truth is they have to recalibrate their thought processes pretty regularly, and they have to look at different models pretty regularly. Now, a lot of these cases are just in New York City. And, I mean, what we've talked about on the show wouldn't it be great if we could find a treatment for this? And that's part of what has been going on. There's been some research. I mean, just about a week ago, the FDA issued emergency authorization for the use of something called hydroxychloroquine to combat the coronavirus. Now, that's a anti-malaria drug that's been used for 50 or 60 years now and is generally safe. I mean, it doesn't kill people if things go wrong with it. I mean, I think the worst that could happen is it might not work, although if you look at some of the studies, some of the smaller studies that have been done, although there have been some doctors that claim to have treated up to 500 people, it seems to be pretty effective. Now, I think the president had some pretty interesting things to say about this, and I wanted to share with you his clip from yesterday's presidential daily briefing on this particular issue. Let's hear from President Trump.
And the other thing that we've bought a tremendous amount of is the hydroxychloroquine, which I think, as you know, it's a great malaria drug. It's worked unbelievably. It's a powerful drug on malaria. And there are signs that it works on this, some very strong signs. And in the meantime, it's been around a long time. It also works very powerfully on lupus. So there are some very strong, powerful signs, and we'll have to see because, again, it's being tested now. This is a new thing that just happened to us, the invisible enemy, we call it. And if you have no signs of heart problems, as erythromycin, which will kill certain things that you don't want living within your body. It's a powerful drug. If you don't have a problem, a heart problem, we would say let your doctor think about it. But as a combination, I think they're going to be, I think there's two things that should be looked at very strongly. Now, we have purchased and we have stockpiled 29 million pills of the hydroxychloroquine, 29 million. A lot of drugstores have them by prescription, and they're not expensive. We're sending them to various labs, our military, we're sending them to the hospitals, we're sending them all over. I just think it's something, the expression, I've used it for certain reasons. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? And a lot of people are saying that when, and are taking it, if you're a doctor, a nurse, a first responder, a medical person going into hospitals, they say taking it before the fact is good, but what do you have to lose? They say take it. I'm not looking at it one way or the other. but we want to get out of this. If it does work, it would be a shame if we didn't do it early. But we have some very good signs. So that's hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin. And again, you have to go through your medical people, get the approval. But I've seen things that I sort of like. So what do I know? I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor, but I have common sense. The FDA feels good about it. As you know, they've approved it. They gave it a rapid approval. And the reason, because it's been out there for a long time, and they know the side effects, and they also know the potential. So based on that, we have sent it throughout the country. We have it stockpiled, about 29 million doses. 29 million doses. So we have a lot of it. We hope it works.
And I mean, if you were sick, wouldn't you want to give that a try? I mean, what's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen? President Trump makes a great point. Thank you for listening to the Morgan Streetman Show. We hope you enjoyed what you heard, and if you did, please click like and subscribe to help us out. And remember that we recommend that you exercise your brain at least once a week.